So I'm just going to do a quick run through of invoicing and payroll just to give you an idea of how it works. So both of those processes are run from the organisation, and my organisation is Demo Care, and they're both run from the context menu up here. So you click on the organisation context menu and you see these options here: generate invoices and generate pay advice. Now these only appear if you have populated the next invoice ref and next payslip ref in the invoicing and payroll tab. And there are other things in the invoicing and payroll tab that affect both the production and the appearance of invoices, but I'm not going to go into that detail here. So you click on generate invoices, and this modal dialog comes up, and the first thing that you notice is this very scary bit in red: have you run the pre-invoice payroll checks? Because what you want to avoid doing is running invoicing or payroll when there are some unresolved things. There's some bookings that haven't been checked into or out of, or that sort of thing. So I'm going to close this dialog and go back to here where I can see we've got pre-invoice and payroll checks. So on the pre-invoice, read this text, put in the start and the cutoff, run the checks. You get something very similar to a bookings listing, and it's got links that allow you to click down to the relevant place and correct whatever's wrong. Once you've done that and the checks come back empty, then you can go back and do the generate invoices. So you can optionally specify an invoice period start, and you must specify a period cutoff. So if you don't specify an invoice period start, it'll take all of the uninvoiced and invoiceable bookings up until the period cutoff. If you provide an invoice period start, obviously you'll only get from that point to the cutoff, but that might leave you with some uninvoiced work earlier than the period start. Invoice date, kind of self-explanatory, and this is critical here, the dry run thing. So I would advise not unchecking this for the first run, and generate your invoices, have a look at the PDF that's emailed to you and check that you're happy with it before you do it again, unchecking the dry run option. Because if you're running lots of invoices with different selections, it can get a little bit confusing in your inbox. You're able to specify what the subject is of the email so that you can figure out which one belongs to which when you're going through checking. You can specify that you do the invoicing just for a selection of customers, well, for one customer or all customers, and you can specify doing it by contract. These selection options will undoubtedly be enhanced over time, but anything that you need to do can already be done using this additional criteria thing, but we will probably have to provide you with the text for that. Okay, so having done all of that, you click on generate invoices, and it gives you a message which shouldn't be in red, but I haven't changed that yet, telling you that you're going to get an email at some point, and I would go and look in my mailbox and find it. Pay advice generation is pretty much identical, so I don't really need to go through that, so I won't. So when you go back and do the real thing, having made sure that you're happy with the dry runs, the process is slightly different. You untick the dry run, you generate the pay invoice, and this time, rather than getting PDFs, you'll get a report showing you what has been generated, and that will be emailed to you, and there'll be various links in that email that allow you to send out the PDFs to the, in this case, care workers, because I'm on pay advice, but it could be the purchasers if I was doing invoices. And there are various other things that you can do, export to CSV and do more complicated invoice layouts that you might need to do. But that's very much kind of whatever's right for you and your more complex purchases.